semicircle. Yes, in a semicircle. There you go. Come around.
Circle.
You can see.
Circle in summer.
Now, I told you I've been around for a while, 150 years, and they sent me back to my chagrin. So, one of the persons that I met, though, and that I ended up burying, it was a nice funeral, is a lady that is laying right there. But let me tell you about her. In your history books, did you ever hear of a President Garfield? Yeah. You remember that name?
Yes.
Well, you know how he died, right? No. He was assassinated. And I tell you who did it. A man by the name of Charles Guiteau. Gateau. And Charles Guiteau, you know, back in the day, they didn't have a secret service to protect the president. And this guy, during the campaign, wanted to be a presidential appointee in his administration. Well, he considered him and then didn't appoint him. He was absolutely pissed. He said, well, this is not right. I did all this work for you, and you didn't appoint me. I'm not going to tolerate it. And he laid a plan. And the president was out speaking somewhere. Now, wait a minute. Let me describe what he looked like, because I had one of my buddies that buried him. Man, that was a big man. He was about 6'4" and about 390 pounds. He had a lot of breadth to him and a lot of width to him. And to have a casket made that big for him, boy, that was a good one. Lo and behold, so we got him. He came up behind him with a pistol after he got through speaking and shot him in the back. And down he went. And then had the nerve to shoot him 2 more times, right through the gut and through the chest. Well, it was a little gun. It wasn't a big gun back in them days. At least that one wasn't. And he didn't die. It took him 10 days to kick the bucket. And he did not die from the gunshot, but he died from infection. Oh, boy. So, he was married to a woman, and she was a mail-order bride. He got her, and he was a very mean man. He beat her all the time, mentally abused her, physically abused her, threatened her to the nth inch of her life, every day. And they wondered, and once they jumped on his killer, they beat him up really good. Man, they tore him up. And so they pulled him over, put him in jail, and then even the guards in the jail wanted to beat him up. And did. Well, they had a trial, and everyone in the town was wondering, okay, we know his ass is guilty. Let's take him on out there and hang him and be done with it. No, we're going to have a trial. And he put up the first time in the history of the country a defense in which he said, I'm crazy. Well, we knew that. There ain't nothing new. We all are crazy. But he said, I'm crazy. And so that's going to be my defense. And everyone looked at each other, and he said, well, you got a wife. How come she didn't say something about it? Mary Alice. That's really what they called her. It was Anna, but Mary Alice. How come you didn't say anything? Well, I didn't know about it. You're a lot. You knew all about it. So she said, well, and if you didn't know anything, then you're going to testify against it. Well, I'm scared. He's going to get off. He's not getting off. Lo and behold, they had the trial and she testified against him. It was her testimony then that got him convicted fully and completely. they took him out 3 days later, not like it is today, where it's 30 years later you might send him to the gallows. Back in those days, 3 days later, they had him strung up. Man, that was a big event. Celebration. But what did they do to her? They totally, completely ostracized her. Some people said, we ought to kill you too because we know you're guilty. There's no doubt about it. So, she said, I got to get up out of here. These people are crazy. In Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing changed. So she got on the first train going west. She came through Canesville. Y'all know where Canesville is?
Yeah.
Well, someone say where it is. Council Bluffs. Farthest train she got off Council Bluffs came across a flatboat across the Missouri River and came to Omaha and settled back down again, thinking that she is not known, no one will know her, etc., blah, 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 blah. But bad news travels fast. They found her in Omaha, and she was also ostracized here, but not quite as bad as it was in Washington, D.C. And she found a new husband that treated her much better, and she had a couple kids as well. Well, she lived all the way up to 1910. She lived up to 1910. She still yet was not an old woman, but she died. Charles Guiteau goes down in history in infamy. What's so haunting about this? Well, let me see. Today is a bright blue sky, right? But on a dark, stormy, cloudy day, and in this cemetery, you'll see a mist come up from the cemetery all around here. She has been seen in a blue chiffon dress with a little bonnet on, walking right up here where we're getting ready to drive, coming down toward here. Matter of fact, a customer of ours, must have been about 5-6 years ago, said that they had been up here and they saw a figure. Now, wait a minute. A ghost-like figure, an apparition, come on. Actually, in your mind, you think that's what they look like. No, they look just like you right now. And she came up to some people that were nearby and she said, look out! Look out! Someone's going to shoot you. Someone's going to shoot you just like they shot him. And she's screaming to the top of her lungs in a blue chiffon dress. Nice for that day and time. But she walks through here. And as many graves as we have, I think they're somewhere near, they said, in this cemetery, right about 3,900 graves. And in the Muslim, which they don't want us to go in right now. They've been doing some renovations, but to me, it didn't look like it really kind of needed it. Someone said, that's way too scary to go up in there right now. So, that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. When we get back on, I'll go to the next one, show you.